Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a look at Around the World Fluxx. Around the World Fluxx is a 1 to 6 player game published by Looney Labs Games. And you notice that I said 1 to 6 player. Yes, there is a solo variant for this game, but we're not going to be going over, but know that you can play this solo. Now, Fluxx versions, there's going to be a lot of different themes to the different versions of Fluxx, and this is going to be an around the world theme to that game, where you're going to have keepers that are going to be different iconic locations throughout the world, and your goal cards are going to match with them, and you're going to have some flavorful rule cards and action cards that deal with this theme. So let's go ahead down to the table. I'm going to show you what's different with this version of Fluxx and a general idea how to play the game, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to give you my final thought. Okay, so we're going to take a look at Around the World Fluxx. Now, Around the World Fluxx can be combined with Across America Fluxx, just so you know. So you can do one big Fluxx game with combining these two here. They work together, and you can have an epic game of Fluxx. But today we're talking about Around the World Fluxx. So before I get into basic rules about Fluxx, I wanted to show you what makes this version of Fluxx unique. Because there's a lot of different versions of Fluxx you can pick up. In this deck, you're going to have the theme of traveling around the world. So your goals are going to show that. Like here's going to be Christ the Redeemer, or you can go to Machu Picchu. Here, Houses of Government, you can see Red Square or Big Ben. Here, you're going to be go to see any of the 3 European Union places. Beautiful domes, wonders of nature, built by the United States. Circular ruins, so you can go to Stonehenge or the Colosseum in Rome. Here you got to go African savannah. You could see the pyramids, or I never know how to say that. So this is the pyramids of Giza. This one here, I never know how to say this one, but you can see it's right there. And then the Serengeti National Park. So there's lost cities, puzzling stone faces, wonders of Asia, Inca Maya ruins, mid-20th century architecture, mountain places, tours of the Middle East, South Pacific, British clocks, visiting Central America. As you can see, there's tons of different goals for all around the world. And that fits with the theme of this game here. Now, with those, to get your goals, you have to have keepers out. So it has stacks of keepers that meet each of those. So these are just going to be different, unique places around the world. That hopefully, you know, if you like traveling, you can actually visit these at some point. But we're going to go over how to play the game in a second, but know that you have to have these keepers to match the goals in order to win. As soon as you have the keepers out that are required by the current goal, you automatically win the game, even if it is not your turn. Now, another thing that will make this one different is some of the other sets will have what's called creepers. This one game only has goals, keepers, action cards, and new rule cards. And most of the action cards are going to be your standard action cards. But there's some that are going to be unique. So these were all normal action cards here that you'll get with just about every set. I think they're towards the task. Like there's some unique ones here. I think Taskmaster. I don't remember that one. Maybe I do. Okay, this one here, this action is going to be a unique action. It will come with this expansion. This is I'm going on a trip. Name a keeper. All players must look in their hands for the goal cards that require that specific keeper you named. If they find any, they have to give the goal cards to you. And if you gain no cards, you draw a card. This is luggage mishap. Choose another player. That player must place their entire hand face down on the table under a paperweight if possible. They will take their next turn as usual, but without any access to their lost luggage. Until returned, the luggage is immune to any cards that would affect it. After their next turn ends, they will return their luggage cards to their hand and observe any hand limits. So that's pretty neat. And there's a couple in here, other ones in here. I'm not going to read them all, but there's like the 7 Seas and 7 Wonders, I'm lost, well-used passport, 4 directions. And Here's some more goals that were supposed to be in there. And here's some of the new rules. You got your normal new rules, so that'll be in the top here. And then down towards the bottom, you have some unique rules that you could put out. Like here's bucket list. When you play a goal, you can make it your personal goal by placing it with your keeper, not the rules. You alone can win with this goal. When you play a new goal, you can replace the main goal with your personal goals. Normally the goals every player can get to win off them, but that one's pretty neat. And then you also have this one away bonus, when was that, and armchair traveler. So lots of neat new cards that you get with the game. But for now, what you're going to do to play the game itself is you're going to shuffle up this deck here. I'll separate them all out. I got to shuffle them all together here. All right, after you shuffle up the deck, you place it where everyone can reach it, maybe right beside here, and you have your rules. You're going to have the starting rules for the game, and this is in Fluxx. This whole game is about fluctuating stuff. So these rules will change throughout the game, but for right now you have draw one, play one. And just know that if you ever run to the bottom of this deck and you have to reshuffle it, these get bumped up one where you're going to draw two, play two. But for right now, we're going to draw one, play one, and everyone's going to get 3 cards to start out the game. There is no hand limit there is no can limit currently, but that can change based on placing these new rules down. So this here, you're going to be able to play one of these cards. I can play a goal down. If I play a goal down, I'll set it here. You can have one goal out at a time. And now anyone with keepers that match these, so Stonehenge or the Colosseum, will automatically win the game. The other thing I could have done instead of doing that, so I would actually start by drawing one. Forgot that part. So I draw one, and I get to play one, as I can play this new rule card. If I play this new rule card at the start of no hand bonus, so the start of turn event, you get to draw 3 cards if you have no hand, which is super helpful. And everyone else has a hand right now, so I may want to put that down in hopes that I can get rid of my hand. Talked about the goals, but the other thing you can do is play these action cards. If I play this action card here, I can discard a card and draw a card. Discard your entire hand, then draw as many cards as discarded. So I could discard this card, I could play this card, discard these 3 cards in my discard pile, and draw 3 cards. And that would end my turn. There's other rules in here that will let you draw more cards and play more cards. And when you put out your rules, you'll just put them over here so that you could see them. And if you put new rules out, you can place them like this so you know what's happening on there, and some rules will negate others. So if you have a draw 2, but then you have a draw 3, this would replace it. So you'd be drawing 3 instead of 2. And if you play this, let's say I played this on my turn, I would draw 2 more cards because I already drew one for the turn, but I would immediately draw 2 more cards. So I would have drawn up to 3. So these will actually immediately change the game as you play them, and retroactively in some cases. So that's it. You're going to keep going until someone plays out keepers, which again are these cards right here, to match the goal cards that is out in play. So one of these. As soon as that's done, even if it's not your turn, you win the game. So in a really, really quick nutshell, that is how you play Fluxx. And that's as easy it is to teach people too. So let's go ahead back up the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts on Fluxx around the world. So around the world Fluxx. If you like Fluxx, you'll like this Fluxx. It's going to be like more towards your traditional Fluxx game. It doesn't have like creepers, and your goal cards don't have like actions that fire off and different things like Marvel Fluxx and whatnot. So this is going to be more of your traditional style Fluxx game with the theme of traveling around the world. So if you like that theme, this might be the one for you. So with that said, it is Fluxx. The card quality is great, which is very important because it's a card game. And I really like the different keepers and the goals and stuff, and the flavor of this game overall. So Does this one do anything different really than any normal version of Fluxx? No. Like I said, this is going to be like a classic style Fluxx with that theme. So if you're okay with that and you like this theme, this is something you want to pick up with. If you want creepers and all those additional stuff that you can get in like Zombie Fluxx or Marvel Fluxx or whatnot, this is probably not the one for you. And if you don't like Fluxx, this won't change your mind. So overall, if you haven't played Fluxx before, this is a great game for taking out and playing at any time. We used to play this a lot at our lunches at work. Doesn't take very long to play. It is a variable length, so it can take between like generally 10 to 30 minutes. But you know, it could take shorter or longer. You can win on your first turn potentially. But overall, this is a lighter game. It's total chaotic, a lot of fun. So if you're looking for something like that, I highly recommend this. If you like this theme and you like Fluxx, also a great pick. So that's my thoughts on Around the World Fluxx. Thank you for watching.